Hi everyone, it's Farah here. So today we're going to be starting a new video series or YouTube series by the name of MORAY. So what is MORAY? MORAY means mother. And here I'm a grandmother of my lovely grandchildren who call me MORAY. So you can remember me and call me MORAY, and that's how we're going to start. So what is going to happen on this line is that we're going to be doing a lot of interesting things, from arts and crafts to home decor to kitchen or whatever, lifestyle, anything and everything. So it is a YouTube channel which will definitely interest a lot of people. So as we will go along, you will see what all we are going to be doing and how we will be going forward. So today, because I'm an artist, so today I thought we can start with a little project which I will do in front of you from the scratch, and you'll be able to follow the steps and see how beautifully we can create everything. So are you ready? Let's begin. So what the project is that we're going to be doing a candle stand. Candles are very, very popular these days, and everyone wants to have beautiful candles in their houses, but they are expensive. So what we are going to create is a beautiful stand that we'll make ourselves, and then we can have tea light candles in them, replaceable, and it is something which is very versatile, and you can put it in different places of your house. You can do arrangements and decor, which in another program I can even show you how to decorate different parts of your houses. So what are the items that I would need? This is, if you see, it's a chocker block of MDF, and I have had it made specially for me. And if you look at the top part, it has a round indentation which is the exact size of a tea light candle. So that's going to be sitting right here very comfortably, and this is the MDF block, a rectangular block that I have had it made. And if any one of you are interested, just DM me and I can have it made for you and ship it. So this is the piece that we are going to be working on today. And I always work on a silicone mat because it's easier to clean and wipe off things. Plus, the table that I'm working on has been with me for the last, I think, more than 20 years. And it has a marble top, and honestly speaking, I have found it to be the best surface to work on because one, it doesn't scratch, and things can come off it easily. The only thing you have to be careful and think about is that it shouldn't be porous, because marble is a natural stone. So there are certain marbles which are porous. Porous means that the water can seep in. So if you have paint or any spills, if it spills, then if it gets into the surface, then of course the stain is going to be there. But this, fortunately, is a beautiful marble piece which is non-porous, so nothing goes inside, and I can wipe it off, scratch it off, and clean it. And this has been tested over time, so I can vouch for this kind of marble. It is really, really good and durable. I've used thinners on it and all to clean, and it has not done any damage to the surface. Now, silicone mats are always very good, to have on your work surface. I've found these turntables to be very handy because when you have your work and you want to do 360, then it's very handy to have something which you can, without touching the item, you can turn it around, and just like this one, that we'll be able to turn our candle stand so that we can work on all surfaces. All right, so the items that I would be needing for this would be gesso. Gesso is a product which you use on different surfaces before you start your paint, because it protects the surface, and something especially like the MDF, because again it's a porous material that it sucks in all the water and everything. So gesso basically seals it, and it acts like a primer. So it seals the surface, and it gives, it comes in two colors, white and black, and very readily available in your art supply stores or any of the hardware stores. If you ask them for gesso, they will be able to give it to you. I will always teach you also how to make gesso at home. So it's more economical, but if if you like me, you would go and buy a jar of gesso and get it. So the first thing first is that we will clean which I have cleaned my surface. It should not have any dust or anything. So I always keep a handy rag in my reach, so that I can sort of just go over the surface. It's a bit damp, and it catches all the dust particles and all, because naturally when you're painting, you do not want any dust to be accumulated or come in between your work. So having done that, your art piece is ready for your work. After gesso, I'll go step by step. We'll be doing paint, and we'll be using stencils today, and we'll also be working with air dry clay. So as I come to that part, I will explain more about it. So here we go. So okay, for this, of course, for the application, I would need my brush. I use a bit of a thicker brush so that I can cover the surface. Dip it in water. I use the cap of it for my blending, so that I'm not wasting too much of my paint. And we start. It's very smooth to apply. It's water soluble, so it's quite easy. If I can show it to you, and the camera above can also catch what I'm doing. So there we go. The reason I'm applying, as I told you, gesso is because I don't want to waste too much of my paint. And I did select, because my base color for this art piece is going to be black. So that's why I selected black gesso. Otherwise, for most of my items, I use white gesso. So this one is going to be my base for this particular art piece. Okay, so can you see how smoothly it applies, and there are no streaks, nothing. And we're going to do the same for all four sides and the top. The bottom, I usually don't do gesso or paint, because once the piece is completed, I always put a piece of velvet, which gives a very, very nice finish to it. And it is a product that you can, either display in your house and easily sell as well, because, why not? Why not? If you can make something of quality, then I'm sure people will be there to get it from you. If you see, it covers the entire surface really well, and it's not that difficult. I have put gloves over here, and I do like to wear gloves most of the time, but you can do it without gloves or with gloves. If you're too particular about not getting your hands dirty or anything, please do wear gloves. Otherwise, I will be wearing them once I get into more detailing of things. I will be putting on gloves. There you go. So we have done with 3 sides, and now we're going to be working just a little bit of water, not too much, because we don't want it to be too runny. Just a little bit of water goes a long way. The way it goes over it and how smooth the result is. And the other good thing is it is non-toxic, so you don't have to be outdoors doing it. Gesso is very, you know, it's friendly to work with, and I can very easily do it in my studio. So I would like that if you like my videos, as I'm starting it now, I would like you to give me comments, and please do like and subscribe it, because this will tell me that you know, I should be making more videos and uploading them then. All right, so if you see all over, you will see all of my four sides are well covered with gesso, and this is right now it's just gesso, it's not paint, right? But you can see the coverage. There are just a few spots I've missed, and I'm going to do that. So if you see, I still have to do the top, but I just want to show you all the four sides, how you know, beautifully it has covered. And again, we still have to do the paint part of it, but here it's the base of it. So now I will do the top. And just as I said before, a little goes a long way, and you don't have to, you know, load up your brush too much with the material, with gesso. The turntables, they don't come in brown color, believe me. This is all these years of paint and all that I've been using it, and it has turned into a brown color because I really use it a lot with all of my work. So yeah, so this is probably my last project, which was brown in color, so that's why it has turned brown. Anyways, all right, there we go. I think we have reached all the inside and all of it. All right, so probably now is a good time for me to wear my gloves. So now that you see the top part, the inside of it all and all around, we have covered really well. And as I said, I will not do the bottom part because I'll be later on covering it with velvet. But if you don't want to do velvet and you want to just do the paint, please go ahead and do the gesso first and then the paint. Now, this is a heat gun because otherwise I would have just left it to be air dried. But since we're doing a video, I'll be a little bit noisy, but I'll just dry it out with the heat gun. So we're done with gesso, so I'll take this away. Now, as you can see, all of my four sides are well dried, and the top part as well, it's all dried. Okay, now comes the next step, which is paint. So we're going to be using acrylic paints, and again, acrylic paints are also very readily available in all of your art supply stores, or you know, or if you want to order them online, I'm sure you can get. Here we are using the black for the base, and then we're going to be doing the decorative work on top of that. One step before we go to the paint part, gesso is also good. It's not just for the porous surfaces. It is good when you're doing it as an underlay for a lot of your artwork. It enhances the colors. When you do the color on top, any other color, it enhances it and you know, makes it look really beautiful. So it gives a good base to any of your materials. Secondly, I also use it when I'm doing decoupage work. I'm sure most of you would be familiar with decoupage. Decoupage is an art which is like pasting paper on different surfaces. There's a technique to it, and we will be coming to those videos as well. So if you do gesso underneath the surface where you're going to be doing decoupage, you will see the results will be that much more better, apart from other than what if you do apply the paper directly on the surface. So now we're going to go to our step where we're going to be doing our paint, acrylic paint over the surface. So I have my water here, and I'm going to be cleaning with what we had just used, and then I'm not throwing it on the floor. I have my little trash bin underneath. Okay, so I have my acrylic paint, and I'm going to be diluting it because it's quite thick. So I will be diluting it a little bit with water. Not too much, but just enough to have the right consistency. And again, you know, instead of using any other palette or anything to mix my colors, I tend to use, that is if I'm not doing a very big project, I tend to use the caps of the bottle itself and wipe it clean after using. So here we go. All right, so now we're just going to simply, just like we applied gesso, we're going to apply the same thing with acrylic paint, and this is with matte finish. You can get acrylic paint with the shiny finish or matte. So I usually prefer matte finishes depending on what artwork I'm doing. So for this particular one, I would rather have matte finish because of the other work that we're going to be putting. For strokes, if you see, I'm just trying to go one direction because I just want to have a very smooth look to and smooth finish to my product. So I am not going zigzag and up and down all at the same time. So these are small techniques or small things that one has to be careful about when you're doing, because streaks do come and you can see them visibly after the product is dried, and you don't want that. Okay, there we go. I'm sure if you see, you know, the one part and then the next, you'll see that it's quite smooth and looks nice. Now, because this is such a versatile shape and size, I'm doing this one design. You can go wild with your imagination and you can do so much. We will be doing other videos where I will be teaching you other techniques to decorate this and do it you know, even more elaborate than what I'm doing today. But I thought just to start with, let's do this. Oh, I really like the finish. It's really nice. Okay. Again, the strokes up and down so that we get a good result and a good finish. Acrylics are also friendly to work with. They are very smooth to apply and non-toxic, water soluble, because if they are not water soluble, then you will have an odor. But because these are water solubles, so you know, there is hardly any odor, and I can very easily and comfortably work indoors with them and not be worried if I have my grandchildren or other people around me, or even myself. So there we go, and now we're going to be doing the top parts. Okay. And we have fully covered all four sides of this beautiful candle piece and the top part. I'm also doing the round indentation where I've made it for my tea light candle to sit, and just making sure that all my four sides are well covered and there are no places that I've missed. Yep, I think we're good. I think we've done it. All right, so I close my, doing it on the cap, it saves me a lot of paint, and believe me, this is after doing a lot of artwork that I've come to this conclusion. If I put it in another container, I lose a lot of my paint and everything is quite expensive now. So again, we'll be using my hot air gun just to expedite the process. Otherwise, you can leave it to air dry. That is best. If not, you can do it with a heat gun and do your work quickly. So excuse the noise, and here we go. I think we should be okay with this. Yeah, I can check it with the tissue paper to see if my paint is dry or not. I think we're good. Maybe some of the bottom parts may still be a little wet. Okay, now comes the part where your imagination should go wild and you should be able to do so much. What I want to do today is to do it in two colors. One is the black one, which is the base color, and I'm going to go with the copper because where I plan to put this, my setting wants the copper color with it. So I'm going to be doing stenciling. Stenciling is beautiful. You can achieve so much with stencils. Here I'm using an A4 size stencil, which is with the floral design. I really like it. It's quite intricate. If you look at it, it's quite intricate, but very easy to use. Stencils are easy to use, easy to wash, and very versatile. You can use it on so many different surfaces, and I've been using them really a lot. Okay, so the design in my mind, what I've done is I want to leave a little bit of the top without the stencil, because I want to put the clay on it. So I want that to be blank surface with another color. And then I want to divide it so that I can do my design from underneath. All right, so here is a masking tape. These are fantastic to use. This one is 1 inch in size. If you look at it, this one is 1 inch. So instead of measuring all over, if you have a 1 inch, that's how much I want, so I will mask off the top part. In fact, what I'll do is, okay, there we go. You have to be just patient with it, and go ahead. So we're going to be doing all 4 sides. I'm just keeping the edge as my guard and my size, and there we go. Okay, and then the last bit. All right. So that is 1 inch all around. I'm just cutting a little bit extra so I can go over, but making sure that my lines are straight. Now, I want it a little more than 1 inch, so I'm going to be doing 2 layers of this, so that in total my work is going to be 2 inches. I'll overlap it just a bit so that the color stays and it doesn't go. All right, there we go. I'm happy with this, and we secure it. So I'm going to be doing the same at the bottom, but instead of 2 inches, we'll leave it to 1 inch. So just one time with the 1 inch thick masking tape is going to be good. If you use any other kind of tapes, it sort of pulls the paint off because they are more adhesive, and this one is really good for using for your artwork, so that it doesn't damage the surface underneath once you're done with it, that you have to take the paint off. Now this is the surface that I want to work on for my design. Now I've cordoned off the areas which I do not want my paint to go on top, and now my copper color is ready, and I would need sponges. Now these are 1 inch thick sponges that I've cut it into small squares, and honestly I don't go and buy expensive sponges to do my stenciling. I just go and get a sheet of sponge and cut it myself, and these, because after one use you have to throw them anyway, so I would rather have something which I won't be feeling too bad to throw away. All right, now you put in your design, whichever, because it has cordoned off, you don't have to worry about if it's going over, and you just have to select the part that you like to come and cover the black part. All right, so we're going to have our copper, and again I like to use so just slightly dip your sponge into the copper paint. Again, it's acrylic paint, and I try to dab because I don't want the paint to be too clumpy and coming onto my work surface, because otherwise I don't want any bleeds and smudges underneath. So my design has to be straight, and I like to evenly distribute the color on my sponge. And then you hold on your design, because here I'm not, I could tape it up, but I'm not at the moment, and we go. Oh wow, I am liking it already. Okay, we'll have to reload our sponge and dab, 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 and come and work on our surface. Don't just go up and down motion. I try not to go sideways, because you know, if you go sideways, often it has happened that you know, the paint bleeds from inside, and then it goes to areas which is underneath the stencil, and you don't like it then. So not doing it very hard, but do it very gently, the tapping, and just going over the surfaces, and you'll see after a little bit the paint sort of comes in layers, and the coverage is really good. Okay, I think we're good with this side, and I'm ever so, without moving my stencil, I'm just going to start with the next side. Okay, this looks nice. This is a project that you can sit and do with your young ones. It's a very, very nice project that can be done over summer break, or any kind of activity that you want to do, you know, during their summer breaks, or any sort of you know, when they have holidays and all. So it's a good activity to do with them. All right, I think we have covered every part of it, and ta-da! Oh wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. So if you see now, you can see very clearly the size that has the paint on it. So I can put on my next surface exactly where I want it to be. Now I can turn it because my work is on this side, but this side is still not done. So I can very easily turn. And now we're going to repeat the same thing on all 4 sides. And just making sure that your design is aligned and it's not, you know, your flowers are right, securing it with your fingers, and we go. This is going to look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, today my grandchildren are not in the house, and they will be upset once they come and they'll say, "More, we wanted to do this with you." So you know what? Because I have to make a pair of it, and I'll save the next one for them. I'll sit and do it with them. It's a lot of fun. It's so much of bonding and you know, great time when you sit with your children or grandchildren, and you know, that's the time they start talking and they share so much with you, and you know, it's really a quality time spent with them. And for me, the biggest thing is that all 4 of my grandchildren, they say they want to become artists when they grow up. So that's a big compliment to me. Okay, I think we are done with this side. All right, 1, 2, ta-da! Oh wow, I like it. Now, because now if I have to turn, I will be turning on this side, and I don't want to risk smudging it. So again, we'll have to go with our heat gun and dry it off. Normally, I would wait for it to dry naturally in air and then work, but here I will have to just do it for your convenience. So here we go. Okay, let's see. Again, I'll do a little tab on it, and just to see whether I get anything on my tissue or not before I turn it. And luckily my tissue is coming out clean, so that means I have the surface dry. I can turn it. All right, so here we go. And we're going to align our design again, and we start again with the same way that we do not put the paint directly before smudging it, and you know, trying to get it evenly on our sponge so that our paint does not get underneath the stencil. There we go. And you can see this is quite fast, isn't it? Looks really intricate and looks very time consuming. But if you have your ingredients with you, if you have all your supplies with you, you know, you can really make a project in a day. Just make sure that all your little areas are fully covered with the paint and that you're not leaving any, and also that it's covering it equally and it's not light or dark, unless you want it to be like that you want some areas to be a little lighter than the others. Otherwise, I think I missed out a little bit over here. So, yeah, I think we're good. And voila. Ooh, very nice. I like it. So our other side is also dry. That's why I can very easily turn it. Because remember, we did the tissue test. All right, securing it again, and dab, 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 and off we go. Okay. I love working with acrylic paints. I think they are really nice and the coverage always comes out really well. There's a whole different array of brands and everything available here, and it's quite easy now. You know, things used to be a bit difficult a few years ago, that, you know, paints and all these supplies were a bit difficult to get, but now everything is just a click away. Okay, so, woo. Okay, you're ready to see? I think I'll bring my turntable and then show you all four sides. Wow, I absolutely love it. And I love how detailed it looks and gives such a beautiful finish. I love this copper color. And can you see now how, you know, the masking tape has secured the parts where I don't want my design to go. So that was the reason for me to put the masking tape on. Now we are done with this. This one you can very easily wash with a soapy water or you know, just hot water. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to throw away our sponge and come to the next part. All right, before that, because I have to work on it, I'll do the same thing again with the heat gun, that I will dry up my other two surfaces and then make sure that nothing is going to bleed or smudge. Okay, and then we'll do our tissue test just to see if all of my work surface is clean and there is no wet paint. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so what we're going to do is to remove our tape now, and there we go, and there goes the first one, and the second one, just have to see where the opening is. There we go, And we are also going to take the bottom one out. And you can see how easily everything is coming out without damaging my work or my surface. Now what we did with the masking we did on this part, now we are going to secure the work that we have already done and work on the parts which were first taped off. So I will now mask off the painted part and right at the edge of it. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to secure my painted area and not have any color come on it. And then I'll do the same, I'll turn it over and I'll do the same on the bottom part, that I'll secure my painted area. Okay, because I'll be working on the exposed part now. Just be very careful with the lines that you are, not. And the good part, as I told you about the masking tape, is that it allows you to take it off and put it back again without damaging anything. Okay, there you go. Now, don't worry about the little white marks here or there, because all of these surfaces are going to be worked on. Now, I want these parts to be of copper color. So I'm going to use another sponge. You can use paint or paint brushes, but I like to use sponges because it gives good coverage and I can work nice. And if you want to leave a little texture, you could do that too. So again, I'm going to go tap, 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 and just go over the areas, the black area which is exposed now. And can you see how quickly and evenly the whole surface gets the paint on? And you don't get any streaks, and you get an even look to it. Okay. It gives you good coverage. There we go. All right. So I'm going to put it on my turntable, and I think I'm done with the sponge. Secure. There's a bit of color comes on the top, but don't worry about it because we can still paint it black. And we're just going to be doing the hot gun so that we can get everything, make sure that it's. Now, just to give it a bit more dimension and a little more finish, I have this copper sticky tape. Again, you can get these online very, very easily. This is copper colored sticky tape, and I love using these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the lines and just to sort of enhance the design. So here we go. I'll show you. Oh wow, this sort of changes everything. And at the end, after we are done with all of our work, we will be securing our work with polyurethane, so that everything is not damageable, and the paint and everything is secure, that it doesn't come off, or with the usage in the house and all that it doesn't damage anything. So if you see how beautifully, and it has given a different dimension, different color to it. We're going to be doing the same with the bottom and giving it that sophisticated look. Oh, this is nice. This is beautiful. So you just have to be careful for it turning, but it's quite sturdy enough for you to work. There you go. This is so beautiful. And I deliberately cut and overlap the pieces, but making sure that they align well, so that it doesn't come off of the area where it is joined. Now I'll just add one more line just at the bottom. Maybe I'll do two more lines, in fact. One in the middle and one will be at the bottom. Just making sure that they are straight and following the design. I've got a little twist here, but it's okay, nothing to worry about. Okay, there we go. As you place it, then you make sure that you go over it with your finger, so that it's properly secured on the surface. All right, and align it nicely. There we go. Now we have our, cut off the extra pieces so that they are not jumbling up for you. Okay, now we have the third and final one here. This just sort of gives it that much of finesse and sophistication that I would be happy to have it in my house. I'm sure you would be too. Go. And here we come to the joining part, and we cut it off. And there we go. What do you think? Oops, 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 oops. All right, so what do you think? Oh wow, look at those lines, and we've done our paint, so we still have a few. Okay, so now what we have to do is that I have to make the mold. These are silicone molds which you can get very easily in the market with different designs and all, and using air dry clay is the most easy way to use in these molds. You can use air dry clay by doing your hand moldings, yourself, or you can do it with the mold. So here I want to select the rope design here, and along with that some teardrop designs. So we'll start. I'm going to make a little rope out of the air dry clay and then fill in the mold. There we go. And a bit more. There we go. Just make sure that you press it properly all the way and then just scrape off the excess from the top. Okay, and I have a little bit of water here, so what I'm going to do is just go over it with my finger, a little bit of wet finger, not too much of it, then turn it around, and I am going to now release my design. So here we go. Okay, so I selected the rope design, and here you can see that I have very nicely, I've taken out the mold, air dry clay from the mold, and we're going to keep it on the side because I would need a few more of these to go around the edge of my candle holder. Okay, so we'll take out a little bit more of our air dry clay, securing it and closing the design side down gently, and then we are going to apply the glue, a thin line on top of it. I'm going to do the same for all three. Hopefully we won't have to make another one. And I could have left the design just as is. It's beautiful the way it looks, but you know what? It's me, and I like more detailing and you know, more uniqueness to my designs. All right, now because it is so flexible, I'm just going to put it around and we can do the fixing and pressing it a little, but not pressing too much so that we don't destroy the design. Okay, so there we go. See, I told you, I thought that the rope is long enough that hopefully we won't have to do 4. I'm putting a little bit of water where the edges are meeting so that, you know, it can get merged and doesn't look bad. And I'm going to now do the teardrops, and we're going to, I think, do 4, and we're going to do it on each corner, and let's see how it looks. All right, so here we turn our teardrops upside down, and again with a little bit of liquid glue we go over the surface, not too much because I don't want anything oozing out, just enough that it adheres to it. All right, take the first one and we place it right on the edge of the corner and pressing half of it on one side and half on the other. I'll just turn so you can see it, and I'll do the same for the other 4 sides. I'll just put it right under the rope and in the center, pressing it gently so I'm not disturbing the design, and then turn. My third corner pressing very gently, and then the last one. Wow, looks nice. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, but now I'm just going to clean the top part because we've touched it with our hands. Now what I would like to do is, because this is a bit plain, the top is a little plain, so I'll grab my stencil again, place it in the center, and I would like to go over with the same floral design and copper color so that I have a continuation of what I was doing on the side. Okay, that there are no black parts visible. So that would mean that you have done, and very gently upright you pick it up. Oh, nice, nice. This is nice. I'm going to go ahead and start my paint so that I could show you what it's going to look like at the end. Okay, so I'm going to take a little brush, soft brush, and with black, because black is our base color, so I'm going to start with a little bit of my acrylic paint. And here I would have to use my glasses because this is a little intricate and I don't want to spoil anything. So I am going to paint ever so gently over my terracotta. Okay, it's very difficult to part with it, but then can't keep everything. Okay, just make sure that you're getting into every nook and corner of it, that you don't miss out, because especially the bottom parts and all those parts. And you can see my paint consistency is not very liquidy. I've kept it so that it's not dripping. And after that, whew, okay, we're done with this. Now the next part, or the next step that I want to do, is we have to wait for it to dry before I do the last step for this, which is really, it sort of brings it up and the whole thing is comes alive. We'll do the test again. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, just a tiny speck here and there, but I think we are generally okay. Now just the inside part, I don't want to leave it black because well, again, it's personal preference. If you like it black, you can leave it black. I want to just add a little bit of my copper inside as well. So although when putting in the tea light you won't be able to see it, but for me it just sort of gives it a finishing touch. So I'm going to go in with my brush, the same one, the soft bristle one with thin tip, and just go and do the base and the walls of the candle. And I feel it just sort of gives it that extra finesse and beautiful. All right, now because we have it dry, although the air dry clay is not, but the paint is dry, and we need to sort of give it ever so light antique look. So what we'll do is we'll go with the same sponge and load it up with our acrylic color, the same copper color, and just very gently go over the sides of and the top of our design, very lightly. And voila, we are done with this beautiful candle. Just the last step, as I said, I did not paint the bottom part of it because here is a very thin velvet that I usually use for finishing all of my artwork and giving it that much more professional look, that it has you know, the finishing and all. So what I'll do is, with the same liquid glue, because I've cut it to the size of the bottom, if you see, it is to the size of the bottom, and whatever excess I will cut it off. Maybe I can cut it off a little bit because I've marked it, and I can cut it off a little bit. What we need is our liquid glue. This is really strong glue and it works really well. So we're just going to go over the edges, the four sides, making sure, because we don't want anything coming out, and then filling in. Not too much, but the middle. Okay, we'll turn it around and we will put our square on top, making sure, and whatever extra we have, it's very easy to cut it off. You can see it, the edge. Just rest your scissor next to the edge and just very gently cut it off. Okay, so we've cut all the four edges, and it's better that we have something extra rather than something small and then it's difficult to remedy that. So whatever was extra, I have cut it off, and you see it looks really beautiful. So now the final moments, your candle stand is ready. You've done all of your work, and here is my beautiful tea light candle. I'm going to put that in, and there we go. So I hope you like this, and I hope you try and make it, and it's not that difficult. So I'll put it here, and you can see all the four sides of how beautiful it looks. Very detailed, very professional, and very beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. I hope you come back to my channel, subscribe and like the channel, and I'll see you again. Goodbye from MORAY.